and HenricK, the wreck bring the chaos. Gaming news and industry talk, they got it all. Rage quitting, head banging, it's a metal bro. Mental meltdown, gaming in flames. Chris and HenricK bringing the thunderous rage. Video games and viral content. Barricades, ripping through pixels, the ultimate. Getting to get away. The ultimate. Dream over, I'm feeling the rage. Chris Collins and HenricK on the stage. Talking gaming news, industry that can't escape. Reviewing video games, no need to debate. They bring the heat, spitting truth non-stop with fiery words. They're ready to drop, making waves in the world of video games. Collins and HenricK, they don't play no games. From console wars to DLC scams, they expose it all, making sure no one jams. The audience fired up, ready to explode. When rage quits on, you know it's a code. You know it's a code. When rage quits on, you know it's a code. Rage quit. Rage quit. I'm losing my mind. Chris and HenricK, they're talking gaming all the time. Rage quit. Rage quit. It's a love-hate affair, but I keep coming back. Ain't nothing else to compare. Rage quit. It's a love-hate affair.
What's raging, gamers? Welcome to Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. How you doing, HenricK the Wreck?
You know me, Chris. I got my hands on the controller. It's time to rage.
Hey, man, don't get no stick drift now, okay? None of that's tolerated with today's episode because we got a lot of things to discuss live on Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. But we always like to start off the show with a bang and show you guys a lot of viral content that is circulating all across the World Wide Web. So let's get it. Death Stranding 2 is here, and we're back to hauling cargo across landscapes that hate us, all right? Well, one player's going viral after charging down a snowy mountain like a Yeti with no life insurance. And let's just say the mountain won. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Did you just drop some cargo, Sam? Eyes open, dumbass.
Yeah, that's all gone.
Yeah, that's humiliating. Like a human snowball in action.
Yeah.
Well, we got to dive into the comments. I'm sure everybody's going to be lighting this guy's ass up. The crying baby was actually the player. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
That's
All
true.
that work just to probably go back like an hour or two just to get all their cargo back.
I mean, there's nothing more frustrating than that kind of stuff happening and then having that really annoying baby sound kick in. We understand that's the whole premise around the game, but come on, man, it's a bit much sometimes. But then, did you just drop some cargo, Sam?
Yeah,
While
all the
also the
cargo.
cargo rolling down the mountainside. I mean, there's some times where you play games like this where this comment I know is very relatable to some people. I'm playing it right now. I would quit playing for a couple of weeks. That's how I felt with the very first Death Stranding. I had this same exact experience, HenricK, and I totally walked away because it totally killed the mood of what the game was all about. And then for some reason, it was just so magical 2 weeks later. Have you had that same experience?
Oh yeah, I mean it's happened with plenty of games before. You get turned off by a certain moment or a mechanic, and you're like, man, I'm done right now. You come back to it later and you play for a little bit more. You give it another chance,
Yep.
and you're like, actually, they're kind of cooking here.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, especially with how well received, the Death Stranding universe is. Trust me, you're going to want to
yeah.
stick through it, even though there is a lot of hardship in that video game. But you know what's also insane? Anyone born in 1900s remembers the ancient ritual, right? You're going to be dropping your phone in the water, sacrifice a bowl of rice, and then pray to the tech gods that everything will be all right. Well, one gamer found himself in a similar crisis, except this time it wasn't their phone. It was his entire console begging for a miracle. So let's see how this repair mission went from DIY to OMG within a matter of hours. So if you haven't seen the clip, let's go ahead and take a look.
What's up, man? What can I do for you today?
It's soaked. Could you please help?
All right, man. Switch. I guess we'll see what we can do. Be a shame to waste all this rice. What's up, Mike? I cooked a bunch of extra rice last night. You want some?
Yeah, definitely.
I got bowls in the back. I'll hook you up. I got it all fixed up, man, and now it's keto friendly.
Oh, this looks amazing. Did the rice help?
I'm not really sure, man, but I do have a question. Why did you use so much rice?
My dog covered this thing in pee.
No.
The
no.
delivery of the turn of events at the end there is
my gosh.
perfect.
I'm curious because obviously we don't own video game stores. Do we ever have any, fans out there that follow Rage Quit like this that own a video game store? Does that actually happen all the time? Do you get bowls of rice coming in, with certain gear that people are still utilizing this to this day? That was a Nintendo Switch, by the way, HenricK. You noticed that?
Yeah. A whole on switch.
Oh, my Lanta. Well, to be fair, you didn't ask how it got soaked, and from my experience, a lot of the time it's because they fell in the toilet. Wait, pause.
Yes, this is true, unfortunately.
True?
I haven't
That's
had
happened
it
to
happen
you?
to me, but I've known people had it
You've
happen.
known
to.
actually people that done this.
And Chris, remember, I used to work at a store
That's true.
where, we'd fix electronics and phones pretty often, and that was a lot of times the
Wow.
reason why people would have water damage.
Well, hopefully you're always wearing gloves at all times because maybe
of
everything
course,
that comes
of
on
course.
in is not sanitized.
Everything that gets
even if it's dry.
Everything that gets checked in gets sanitized, at least when
Yeah.
I worked on it.
I mean, you're definitely going to get the plot twist of the decade. Yes, that was
Yeah.
very cringy. I'm sure you have a lot of
Yeah.
war stories in your, Geek Squad days.
yes, a lot.
We'll have to save it for another show, maybe a
Yeah.
post show. And then you also get, no, crypto, no, bad dog, bad. I can only imagine Superman would be so pissed. Then Supergirl's going to have to come on in and save the day after all because he's so glued to his screen because he's so upset he can't figure out if it's an aux cord, HDMI cord, or if it's just crypto peeing all over his gaming device. Maybe we'll never know in the end. But you know what's crazy? People are still playing Call of Duty Warzone, and we've been saying it for many seasons. It's not for the faint of heart or anyone who values their sanity. There's a lot of things going on. Hackers, you place it, you name it. But, it's not really a place where casuals go just to kind of chill, right, HenricK? You're going to go there to yell at your screen, questioning if you just got outplayed, or a hacker is tap dancing on your hitbox and just nailing you right in the dome. But, what you're about to witness defies all known laws and logic and probably physics. So let's go ahead and take a look because this is just very action-packed and very driven and very defining.
I had the hiccups. Look at these.
Okay, chill in here. I'm gonna catch him.
One guarding in.
Let's go, baby. Where's the locking?
Shot from the hill. Yep.
Redirected it.
The guy shooting that is very weak.
Yeah.
There's more up on the hill.
Pretty impressive. Not very easy to pull off, but I guarantee you, maybe we don't have it in the comments, but I guarantee you there's some Battlefield fans looking at this and being like, I do this all the time in Battlefield. Come on,
let's
guys.
open it up. Let's get right on into the comments. The first one says something Tom Cruise would do in a Mission Impossible movie. So are we just saying flat out now, if there was an adaptation of a Call of Duty movie franchise, would Tom Cruise take the lead based off of this clip and the numerous other hacking videos? Or was he hacking? Or was that just pure chaos and just pure excellence?
Well, you know what they
possibly
actually
Tom Cruise
would
behind
choose.
the NPC.
You know who they'd
What's that?
actually choose for casting a main character in a Call of Duty game is going to be Chris Pratt, obviously.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. That'd probably be a fan favorite for a lot of people. I mean, if you can, get shot in the leg by a dinosaur tranquilizer and then run off an island before the lava kicks in, yeah, maybe he might fit that role in the and then I'm out. I'm out. If this happened to me, I'm not playing Call of Duty Warzone. And then last, all right, that's actually fire. I'm not going to lie. Do you think that's fire? Do you think that's cool? Would you jump off? I think I would.
No, I think I'd commend the guy. I'd be like, you know what?
You
I
would?
can't even be really that mad.
I think I'd bounce out before I even get in the gulag fight. I'm not taking this shame. No misery like that. But hey, we want to thank everybody that's joining us live for Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show, and we can't thank you, the gamers, for always tuning in live every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, because without your support, gamers, this show would not be possible, and we're live right now on YouTube, Meta, and Twitch, so you guys got to go ahead and follow us on our main channels. This QR code will lead you directly to my YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a live show.
Yeah, and you see that QR code, you should know what to do with it at this point. Go ahead and scan it. Goes to my YouTube channel. There's tons of content just waiting to be watched. So go watch some videos.
Come on,
Let me
man.
know how I'm
Bask
doing.
in the
Roast me
glory.
if you need to.
Oh, man, we got a lot of things cooking up. And don't be afraid to jump in the chat. We're here for a lot of your guys' gaming commentary. You can get featured live on the show just like this beautiful lower third, or you're going to get roasted in real time. You play along, that's what you get, fam. Are you ready to hit the start button, Henrik? Because I'm just, the RPM's kicking in. This motor's rolling. I'm ready to rock and roll, my friend.
Oh, yeah. Take your magazines and go and drop down on that planet, because it's time for pause or repeat.
Hey, let's get it.
Hey everyone, this is Pause or Repeat. Here we figure out whether a game is really worth your time and money. Today's game is Mycopunk. Mycopunk is a first-person shooter by developer Pigeons at Play and is published by Devolver Digital. Since Devolver Digital has published some bangers in the past, there are some expectations from this indie title. With that being said, let's start by going over the gameplay and see what they've got in store. Mycopunk is a mission-based game, so the majority of the gameplay will be in said missions. Whether you play alone or in co-op, you'll pick from one of 4 characters and be sent down in a drop pod to the planet New Atlas. After you land, you're given objectives to complete ranging from collecting data, restoring power, sniping enemy ships with a railgun, or even simply just killing enemies. And there's even more. Speaking of the enemies, we're not fighting your typical humanoids. As expected by the name of the game, we're fighting fungus monsters and amalgamations of fungus and technology. Enemies are pretty varied in rank and difficulty, but are also modular. This means that parts can be blown off, but also any parts not completely destroyed can be picked up by another enemy, so be wary of that. Outside the missions, you'll go back to your ship, a hub space to run around and prep for the missions. You'll also be able to invest points in a progression tree for each character, or assign upgrades to weapons based on what you find in the missions. So how is the story looking? The story of Mycopunk follows the new Atlas Hazard crew, a group of 4 robots with different eccentric personalities that are hired by Saxon, a mega corporation. Saxon has tasked this crew to drop on the planet New Atlas, exterminate the fungus infestation, and retrieve any resources they can before the ecosystem completely falls apart. Will there be more to uncover? But now the question still stands. Pause or repeat?
You've heard of cyberpunk, and you've probably heard about steampunk. Now we have Mycopunk.
No, don't do it.
Is too many
everybody gonna
punks
start getting
going on here?
confused?
Come
Yeah,
on.
what the hell's going on? Are we just forming like the perfect ensemble of just rock and rollers? I mean, they are. I mean, it is that joke. It's like, what do robots listen to, Henrik?
Mhm.
Heavy metal.
Do they listen- Oh,
Yeah, see, I know.
you got me.
I got you.
The
That was
dad
pretty lit.
jokes are coming out, guys. All right, no, it's that kind of day.
Right. But like in Mycopunk, you're part of the new Atlas Hazard crew, a team of malfunctioning metal misfits hired by the Saxon Corporation to clean up a galaxy-wide fungal disaster, right? I mean, it sounds heroic. Wrong. I mean, you guys are just going to be playing as a bunch of intergalactic janitors with futuristic guns. Try not to get scrapped while wondering if the whole tax fraud thing was your fault or theirs, Henrik.
Hey, yeah, but you know what? The premise, as obscure or eccentric as that might sound, it's actually pretty solid. The gameplay in this, it for being an indie game especially, is pretty dang good, I'd say. I mean, yeah, it could be repetitive, and I'm being really optimistic here considering it is technically an early access release, but
Yeah.
they say this is their 1.0. So it's not anything below that they're releasing. They're really just going to go up from here, according to them. But hey, you know what? They've got a really
Big
good solid
emphasis on their
foundation.
Steam page
Yes.
about the whole early access thing. Trust me,
Yes.
we'll get to there at one point. Trust me, I got a lot to say about that. But when it comes to the combat, yeah, it's chaotic. It's like Call of Duty Zombies that took an edible in that kind of a way, right? There's glowing
Almost
bug
literally.
swarm. Right. And there's going to be tech that turns against you and your screen explodes like a rave at Tomorrowland. Oh, wait. That might be too soon. Sorry, Belgium. The party got spoiled on stage. I mean, that's what happens when you have a glorified DJ show that looks like just like a glorified Christmas lighting show, right? But anyways, I do like that there's a clever twist in the gunplay, as if you land hits with one weapon, it recharges the ammo in the other. I think that's really, really cool. But like Henrik, I felt like what was a deal breaker with me was, what's up with the no melee? I mean, not even a robot pimp slap. I mean, you're telling me that I'm a metal murder machine and I can't even pistol whip with the mushroom? I mean, there's not enough
But you're
options.
not really going to want to use it too much.
But I mean, that's the crazy part about it. I mean, come on, you would think that they would like maybe have like a chainsaw blade. You know what I mean? Like with that kind of thing,
you know
especially when
what,
there's so
Chris?
many people swarming at you.
It actually is a secret weapon that is a chainsaw.
Are you telling me that I haven't even got to the part with the secret boss levels yet? Because I know there's a lot to explore. Are you telling me there's something that I'm missing? Damn it.
Yes,
Damn it.
you need to go back in there and get that. It's a little tedious because it's a lot of grinding, but
Okay.
it is there.
Well, you can kind of tell where I was going with this whole notion with pause or repeat, because, like, I mean, between the rocket lassos and the jetpack dashes, while each class made you feel like a hero, was there one that you liked or you avoided?
Yeah, I played all of them initially one time just to see, okay, what do each of these guys have going for them? And they each play pretty differently. When it comes down to it, the gameplay is going to be the same for when it comes to the guns. But when you throw in the abilities, that kind of changes things pretty drastically because, you got the Wrangler who has a basically like a lasso you can hook on to anything, whether it be an enemy or just the environment, and pull yourself to. That's pretty fun to start out with. But then I saw Glider, the character with a wingsuit, can just do that sort of movement tech just as a baseline without a cooldown. It just recharges.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you know what? If I enjoyed the lasso that much, I'm going to enjoy the Glider even more.
Well,
So
especially if you
I
want
went
to
with
get that airborne tactic, right? If that's like your kind of style of gameplay. You're right. I mean, especially with like the Wrangler, you're going to feel like you're a space cowboy, or what's that new villain?
Which is a cool aesthetic. Don't get me
right.
wrong.
I mean,
I love space cowboys.
You're going to be like Loba, right? That's the dude that's going to be the villain in Supergirl coming up pretty soon. You're going to be feeling like that space cowboy. But like, I felt myself kind of going towards the Bruiser. I know it's kind of got that generic, shield defense that you see in like every other game. But But this guy, obviously this mech skipped arm day, but he never missed a leg day, stumping out that fungus. That thing is so much fun when you're coming down, nose diving on your opponents. But like every mission feels like a DoorDash on Doomsday, right, HenricK? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if you felt that way. Lands,
Yeah,
that
you get
bacteria.
welded into that drop pod. You get thrown in there, and it just flies off, and you just have at it, man. Just go and do your thing. Fight some fungus.
But then again, it's like you're carrying the space junk. You're going to extract and repeat until your friend group logs off for dinner and never comes back. I mean, you got to have a really strong, friend group. But then again, you can easily jump in with a bunch of randoms. But I truly recommend this game with friends. I think that's what it was made for.
Yeah, it's definitely designed for that.
Yeah, definitely this world that's being created in Mycopunk gives off a lot of vibrant Borderlands meets Biohazard look. I mean, it's got that complete comic book flair in a sense, and neon mold everywhere, which is really, really cool. Everything pops visually. I just wonder if you're colorblind, how this game is received for you. I don't know. I don't have that experience, but until, I don't know. It feels like after like the 7th mission, HenricK, you start to realize that, all these atmospheres start to take shape that look almost the same after a while. I get that they got that spore-infested atmosphere, but it's starting to feel like it was on loop. Did you get that same vibe?
That actually wasn't so much of a gripe for me because, I can expect there to be some repetitive nature in a game that's just mission-based. I mean, it's going to be in any mission-based game, whether it be this or probably the closest rival to this sort of game would probably be like Helldivers 2.
Okay.
Where, you're going to hop down into environments that are going to maybe feel the same after a certain amount of time is put into the game. It's just a matter of how long does it take to get to that point. But what actually made me have a gripe about the game was the enemies. Because, there's some kind of cool designs when you get to, like, the bigger enemies. But the just fodder type enemies are literally just a ball with legs.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just like you're fighting a robotic Krusty Krab.
Yeah, it's like, I get it. I'm fighting fungus here, but, like, I want to see something a little more interesting than that.
Yeah, it feels like definitely the color scheme's cool, but like, did you feel like as if someone like spilled Kool-Aid on a sci-fi comic? I mean, that's kind of the vibe I was starting to get. I mean, yeah,
yeah, a little bit.
Mycopunk is full of wild potential. I mean, especially with friends. But after a few runs for myself, HenricK, the rinse repeat mission loop makes me want to file a complaint to OSHA. All right, just for the sake of the 4 robots, I got to go in and clean that bacteria. And dropping an early game instead of a full one, I think completely hurts them in the end, because this feels like a Saxon logic, no pun intended, to the storyline to this game. I mean,
the mega corporation,
right? I mean, I'm here to play games, HenricK. I'm not here to be your personal mechanic because some robot lost a cog in the wheel. I mean, that was their whole excuse on their Steam page. Hey, we need you guys to play it so we could tweak the whole hit points and the queue and the how hard a boss is or not. It's like, no, just I think it would have worked better. I wonder how I would have felt if the game was dropped full. But like for now, HenricK, I feel like this thing is a pause until they fix the gears. What do you say, HenricK?
I was very optimistic when I saw that they said it was a 1.0 release, but at the same time, I feel it's a pause for me as well, because it's lacking in some areas to keep me coming back, like the whole enemy variety thing for just the base enemies. I want to see something more interesting.
Yeah.
Because as fun as the gunplay can be, I'm not killing things that seem kind of cool. It's not really going to bring me back personally too much.
It's a quick summer co-op game with your homies that you got a legit, friend group. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like if you have that, that's really, really cool. But then all of a sudden, I feel like there's going to be a lot of excellent games that are going to be dropping the next couple months. I keep thinking of Borderlands 4, and then I'm like, nobody's going to be playing this. That's just how I personally feel. But then again, we want to know from you, the gamers, are you vibing with this early access or early game to Mycopunk? Do you even agree with HenricK the Wreck and Chris Collins? Or you just guys you guys are so off on this one? Throw your takes in the trash can. Let us know what's good, but we got so much more here left on Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. So HenricK the Wreck, are you ready to rock and roll, my friend?
Oh yeah, let's get those patch notes rolling.
Let's get it. What's good, listeners? Welcome to Patch Notes, where my co-host HenricK and I discuss gaming news, industry talk, and so much more. Let's get it. Subnautica 2 just got delayed to 2026, right before a $250 million bonus that was supposed to surface for the developers team. And what's so crazy about this is Krafton confirmed a leaked developer document dragging the game's progress was actually legit, and then immediately swapped out the entire leadership team like it was a fantasy football league. Totally insane, right? So now there is a lawsuit brewing. Gamers are deep sea diving into the drama, and we're all left wondering if the real horror of Subnautica 2 is corporate. So let's go ahead and dive in and see what gamers are having to say about this latest drama that everybody wants to know. What the hell happened? Oh, wow. Flat out airing the dirty laundry. I think this is the first time I see a company singling out the original founders like that. Disco Elysium Fallout was a bit like that. I can't speak on that one notion, but yeah, you know, that's kind of wild. I mean, not all the time do you hear this kind of back and forth, banter happening within the public, and then within days, HenricK, leaked documents come out saying that they're not progressing to the MVP level that we expect with the sequel, and we don't think it's even ready for an early game release.
Yeah,
what's your thoughts on
crazy. It's actually really wild to see how this has just blown up, especially because the first game was such a classic for like the indie scene. It's like one of the go-to games that people recommend when you're looking for an indie game.
Yeah,
that kind of throws you into the unknown, quite literally, and you just figure it out on your own. But yeah, it's just like you said, you don't really see this sort of thing like ever.
Well, it's definitely like an anchor, and it's fallen into Mariana's Trench. Like, it might not be ever see the light of day. It's almost feeling like, unless they can completely save it. I mean, obviously they brought new leadership in, but you see these kind of quotes that are coming from this story. In particular, following the failure of Moonbreaker, Krafton asked Charlie to devote himself to the development of Subnautica 2. However, instead of participating in the game development, he chose to focus on a personal film project, which, before we jumped on air live, we were like, wait, what's this whole personal film project about? Dude, it's an AI-generated film studio that these guys are pushing, and they're creating this, what this person's calling a fairly uninspired AI Christmas comedy, and I thought that was everything that gamers hated. But then again, SAG just came to an agreement for AI revisions. But like, what the hell's going on? Oh, man.
It's just all bad. Looks
All
really
kinds of
bad on paper, and I'm sure it's not really going to do very well.
So Krafton's clearly trying to tell the public, it's like, listen, look, they were way behind schedule, and you got one of the three leaders that is not devoted to pushing the sequel to be delivered on time, even though they say it was ready to drop this summer. And the fact that this is so blunt gives me pause. Normally, big corporations are very deliberate in the wording, so the fact that this is stated so outright, in my opinion, makes me think that there's more to the story than the original founders let on. Either way, this has been a shit show. And yeah, a lot of the things that, Krafton has been saying is that, it lacks the level of polish and market impact required to drive IP growth and expansion. They felt like it wasn't going to meet up to the expectations. They didn't want to let this thing drown. They couldn't just let this, this fish, reach lands and then just suffocate. They had to, really pace this out. I mean, if you were a major corporation that just acquired, this studio, Unknown Worlds, you got to protect your bottom dollar. And, but let's keep exploring, because I know there's a lot of other, fans that are commenting around this situation, which is, that same kind of quote, right? Moonbreaker, Krafton asked Charlie to devote himself to Subnautica 2. However, he had participated in a game development. He chose to focus on a personal film project. If true, that seems like a clear-cut reason for termination. Well, that's clearly going to be an argument that's going to be stated in court, right? Yeah. I mean, that seems like something they're going to say. Don't you think, HenricK?
No, they got to bring it up, because they're going to bring up, hey, this is the reason why we feel they weren't actually focusing on the game and making it as good as it could be.
But what's also wild is this quote from the article as well, where it says, specifically, in addition to the initial $500 million purchase price, we allocated approximately 90% of the up to $250 million earn-out compensation to the three former executives, with the expectation that they would demonstrate leadership and active involvement in the development of Subnautica 2. So also 90% of the $250 million bonus was going to the top 3 executives. And so when you view it like that, oh my gosh, I had to pull my calculator out, HenricK. I had to kind of, look into this because that's kind of wild. Think about it like this, gamers. $250 million divided by 90% equals $225 million, going 3 ways to the co-founders. They each would have received $75 million, leaving $25 million for their staff. Well, the staff in Unknown Worlds is about 300 estimated staff members that work for that studio. They would roughly get $83,000. And it's unfortunate because of the failed leadership from these co-founders, these employees are going to be missing out. I mean, that's unfortunate if it plays out that way, HenricK. I'm not saying, Crafton might be in the wrong, but let's say the co-founders are in the wrong. What a terrible situation for people to be working behind the scenes, putting all your faith in that leadership, only to lose out on an awesome bonus just in time for the Christmas holidays. I mean, $83,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah, and if they were expecting that to be part of their budgeting for the year, then it's gone.
Yeah, completely gone, and it's pretty wild. But let's keep it rolling with the comments. The next one that we got here is, it is widely uncommon for a corporation to publicly mention a specific drama behind the scenes, which makes me think that there's at least a bit of truth to this. I think the initial response was very clouded by Reddit's immediate hate boner for whoever is higher in the corporate poll in a dispute. The original allegations of them arbitrarily delaying the game to avoid a payout sounded fishy and like a legal slam dunk, if you ask me. Yeah, it does start to feel like that. But then again, totally understand. That's a lot of money, being lost that you were anticipating. And if true, sounds like these guys got their payout and lost their passion. Good on Crafton for giving them the boot to get the project moving forward again. So, wow, this is very, very spicy news that we are receiving worldwide. And HenricK, is Subnautica 2 drama less developer versus publisher and more creators cashing out while the crew gets scraps?
Oh, it definitely feels like the latter, because even in that whole split of 90% to 10%, I mean, does that really seem fair? I mean, I get it that you guys are like the founders, so you deserve some sort of compensation for the work that's being put into your original IP.
Right.
But at the same time, like, if you're not the ones actually doing the work, maybe you should, maybe make it like 30% goes to your staff at least.
Yeah, and then that's what's going to be fought in court, breach of contract. And, I still can't stop thinking about the whole, with one of the co-founders, right, off launching an AI film studio, and reports, claiming of 90% of that $250 million bonus would have gone to the top brass, not the developer team. So some of the gamers are starting to question who are the real villains here. And so we actually have a little clip here. And if you go to their website, that abysmal film, they are flaunting it all over their website here with the power of Midjourney, that they're like, listen, look, we're trying to create a Christmas comedy for the holidays using AI. And again, I thought that was everything that everybody hated. I mean, we've read numerous comments on Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show, HenricK, that are like, if you have any kind of lick of AI in your game, I'm not playing it. But then there's games like the Finals and people play it. And then there's Call of Duty that get accused of making AI artwork. They still play it. You know what I mean? There's music artists that are actually AI, and people still listen to it. So, like, are we just going to have to adapt and embrace what the hell is going on? Oh, my gosh.
I mean, it's going to be in every bit of work at this point, some sort of AI-driven workflow, whether it be complete generation like this or people just consulting with AI to get ideas or, what have you at this point. But just completely abandoning the project that pulled you out from the scene of all the other indie titles and being like, you know what? I don't really need to focus on the sequel. I'm going to go do my own thing, which involves AI. That just altogether looks really bad.
Yeah, and it seems like a lot of the staff members are staying quiet at this time. It'll be interesting whether they speak out and speak about their experience, whether they've been vibing with the 3 co-founders in the leadership that was Unknown Worlds, or whether they were just like, dude, this was just a colossal disaster, and we finally needed to move on from this. Because Crafton claimed the delay was a response to the playtester feedback. It had nothing to do with, quote, any contractual or financial considerations, end quote. So that's what's really wild about it. I mean, obviously, Crafton is claiming gamers that they made multiple requests to Charlie and Max to resume their roles as game director and technical director, but they respectively both declined. And obviously, gamers were referencing in the topics that they were just not vibing with they were not happy with the failure of Moonbreaker, right? So like they Crafton was like, please, Charlie, for the love of the studio, devote yourself to the development of Subnautica 2. But instead, they get distracted. They're more focused on a personal AI film project called Nutmeg and Mistletoe. And that's where you, the gamers, have to decide who is in the wrong. Do we need to know more information? Is this only going to become something that's, just going to leech havoc? Let us know what's good. But HenricK, crack open the loot box. What's dropping in the gaming world?
The FBI just KO'd a major Nintendo Switch piracy site.
Yeah.
It's titled nsw2u.com, and it's now serving a single FBI warning instead of bootleg Mario games. And you can go and take a look at it right here because we got a picture of it.
Just in time for the announcement of the casting of Zelda and Link, right?
True, yeah. Maybe they should place those pictures of the cast of Link and Zelda on the picture, just as a reminder what you're taking away from.
Yeah, who is actually working for them?
Yeah. Well, meanwhile, Nintendo is on a rampage of its own, bricking and Switch 2 consoles using piracy-enabling flashcards like a Smash Brothers finisher. We even, talked about that, I believe it was last week, in one of our topics, because it was a pretty big thing going on.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it's not really necessarily something people are very cheerful about, because some are actually worried that innocent secondhand buyers might get caught in the crossfire. And even Brazil's stepping in to say, hold up, Nintendo. Chill out, bro. So, how are gamers reacting to all this pixelated policing?
Yeah, let's dive on in.
Those comments.
I feel so much safer now that the FBI is fighting for the real issues, ignoring some of the non-important stuff like the Epstein cover-up. Yeah, it seems like, for something that they're claiming is a $170 million valuation, to whose eyes? To whose ears? You know what I mean? Like, these are emulations, you know what I mean? Majority of them are retro games. I mean, are they still, valuing it at full price or what it's actually used today?
And you got to think of it about it too from the perspective of like, even if I want to go out and buy, say, one of the first Pokemon games, like Pokemon Red, if I want to buy that legitimate copy of it and the console as well to play it on the handheld Game Boy, what am I going to have to do? Well, I can't go buy it from Nintendo because they don't sell it. So I'm going to have to go to a third-party used seller. And is Nintendo getting any of that profit? No.
Nah, they just treat all of their products like it's a PSA 10, and they just expect full price like the Pokemon card was preserved in a sleeve for many, many decades. And yeah, totally, the retro ROMs that no one ever sells are crippling the market. They didn't lose $170 million. They just didn't get what they felt entitled to. This was the result of a couple Nintendo Switch ROM sites, and that's what they were talking about. Yeah, it's really, really wild, to think that this is like the main focus when, like, clearly, we don't want to get political on the show, but clearly there's a lot of people on both sides of the aisle that are very upset with, how the administration is handling this whole Epstein cover-up and why are they all jumping around?
It's really crazy in this comment to have them mention that no one ever sells these ROMs, because they do.
Yeah.
Just go on Amazon and look up, and there's plenty of sellers on Amazon selling just external drives or an SD card with a bunch of ROMs that definitely were not obtained legally.
Well, they're clearly doing this because I truly believe we're moving towards that future where cloud gaming is going to be such a prevalent part of our gaming world. Everything's becoming digital, as much as everybody's saying, support physical media. Sorry, that's just not how the next generation vibes with, okay? We're like, it's so 1900s of us, okay, HenricK? And so, because we're going so digital, Nintendo feels like, out of all the games that get stripped online, we're always the ones being targeted. year after year after year. And so like this initiative has happened, years before when it came to, Switch emulator Yuzu last year that we covered, that they claimed that software facilitated, piracy at a colossal scale. We also talked about how there was a legal battle that Nintendo won against French file sharing company called D-Storage, which ended up on Europeans' blacklist for file sharing company that said that it must now remove illegal copies of games when asked to do so. So like, yeah, a lot of this does make sense, but like, is this really where the FBI needs to put all their focus at? In the video game world? Well, funny that they don't post any infographics detailing the amount of kids they saved or trafficking rings they dismantled. I know, right? But they have the exact dollar amount, Henrik. They have the exact dollar amount about how much was seized by the FBI. Good
No, they
work.
definitely got their priorities straight in this one.
And can you imagine how these FBI people feel investing so much time into academics, aspiring to work on high-profile cases and doing an impact to the world just to be told you're going to be working for Nintendo to bring some ROM sites down? I know, right? You're like, yeah. I made it. I made it, fam. Let's get it.
Look, I'm doing it.
Right? And then thank God for the FBI. A pirated video game once broken in my house and shot my dog. Wasn't that the FBI, though? Oh, God, shots fired.
Yep,
and then,
you do that.
you get comments like this. Loss of revenue. Dog, where can I buy the games then? Just buy it off someone else. Then they still ain't getting revenue. What's next? Dismantle eBay because the companies don't get their revenue from someone selling secondhand? And that's what keeps coming up. The Nintendo Switch 2 has to, is still bricking people's consoles. Not even like a full... We're not even out of summer yet. And we're still hearing reports where people are trying to put their secondhand games into their own devices, and then Nintendo with their weird, got to be like an AI, something behind the scenes that's like notifying their like HQ, and will brick their console so you're not even able to play used games? I mean, that's wild.
It definitely is
because
crazy.
It's a loss of revenue, I suppose, in the end.
According
Henry?
to them.
Oh, my Lanta. And then, yeah, that pretty much wraps up the conversation when it comes to the FBI. Wait. Oh, actually, I lied. There's one more comment. It reads, despite not playing Nintendo games at all, I'll go ahead and download some and seed the F out of them just to be extra petty about it. I mean, that is kind of always the joke. One website goes down, another one comes back up. I mean, we've all lived through the LimeWire days. They will find a way. It's like no different than people still stripping pay-per-view fights. Still streaming,
it's
films.
What's the thing? Oh, a Hydra, where you cut off one head and two more grow in its place. That's thing.
I like that analogy. That's so freaking true, Henrik. And so how are gamers reacting to all the pixelated policing? That is really the thing, Henrik. And is the FBI really out here to serve and protect, or just moonlighting as Nintendo's personal hit squad?
Yeah, it's really feeling like Nintendo's leveraging all the little resources they can with governments, just to go after the small guy, it feels like. And I say the small guy because really the people they're going after, a lot of the times they're just passionate fans that want them to have an official way to get these ROMs and play these older games. And yeah, you keep saying, Chris, yeah, but we're going to a digital era where, cloud gaming is going to be the future and everything. And I agree in the sense that it's going to be what ends up dominating in terms of the general populace that's playing video games. Because, when you got games costing $100, it's going to look a lot nicer to spend only $12 a month for a subscription to play these games and more.
There's also major initiatives that we've covered for the last 2 weeks, right, Henrik? Stop killing games and why that is so important, and why people are fighting back against, Switch 2 already bricking secondhand consoles, or, League of Drama, popping off recently. I mean, is the real crime, though, Henrik, piracy or the industry's nonsense with, Nintendo getting away with this kind of stuff over and over again? Like, I understand that they want to tackle, the whole emulation thing, but, like, my biggest gripe that I don't understand why nobody is putting enough pressure on them is, they can flaunt and say that they're losing $170 million, but the fact that they're trying to tackle the secondhand market, I think, is a major, major problem. I think it's a fault line that's about to be cracked like any minute, and, Nintendo is kind of spreading their seeds, and I hate to see it. And, wow. Yeah. I mean, are they just here to serve and protect us, the gamers, or is Nintendo in the right, or is Nintendo in the wrong? We want to know from you, the gamers. So let us know what's good. But then, what's crack-a-lacking? We got to keep our fingers on the sticks, right? Because, the gaming community, we got to get ready to press start or eject, because 2025 is the year smaller games kicked down the door and said, we belong at the top too, baby. And so indie hits like Schedule 1, Repo, Peak, and, just a lot of these are just dominating the Steam charts. It's super, super badass. And while AA standouts like Claire Obscure, Expedition 33, and Rematch are breaking records without breaking the bank, what are gamers really thinking about this underdog uprising? Well, let's go ahead and dive in to the anarchy of the World Wide Web. So the first comment that reads, an advantage of AA and indie games is that they often run fine on modest hardware and tend to be cheaper too, which is a benefit when people have to watch their expenses more. Pair that with the new and fresh ideas and you have winners. Expedition 33 also didn't release at $60 to $80, but it was also $50 and had a launch discount. Yeah, there was a lot of benefits going towards their way when it comes to the one example with Expedition 33, but that is also a very funny comment as well, where it's like, guys, come on, upgrade your shit already. I mean, really? Like, I got a lot of my buddies that still say that kind of stuff to this day. I mean, even with a game that's like 15 years old, I'm like, hey, man, you want to jump on a Grand Theft Auto 5? You want to run into Diamond Casino one last time? You want to run the tables? Oh, man, my computer can't hold up. I'm like, really, dude? But you can play Schedule 1 in Repo? Golly. But I guess that is that's kind of legit.
That is the benefit of PCs.
It's legit.
You can buy hardware and have it be even mid-range, but if you go a little bit higher than mid-range, that hardware can technically last you as long as everything doesn't die, for probably about 10 years if you're only really playing like indie games, and that's about it.
Yeah, very true, HenricK. And I'm just turned off by the modern monetization techniques. Screw all the idiocy. Sell me the game. Let me play it without trying to get into my wallet every time I fire the game up. Yeah, like, obviously it wasn't one of the games from this year, but, obviously, Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, and the whole idea with always online kind of single-player game is a major buzzkill.
This is a problem with Call of Duty as well. You log into the game and immediately it's saying, hey, buy the battle pass. And you buy the battle pass and it's still pestering you. Hey, you bought the battle pass. Thank you. But also you're stupid because you didn't buy our skin packs yet. Buy our skin packs.
Yeah, come on. Please. Don't you want to look pretty? Don't you want to have Beavis and Butthead and everybody else? Come on. What are you waiting for? Oh, man, I know. It's just, what are we even playing Call of Duty still? And then $70 a game, just too much for me. I can buy like 3 or 4 great indie games for that price. Yeah, and then like you pay $70 for one game, and then let's say you buy 2 $70 games, well, you're almost at the price tag for a yearly subscription for, let's say, PlayStation Plus Premium, where you can get hundreds of indie games, and you're going to get a good amount of, day one releases as well on those kind of subscription services. So I totally understand the mindset that people would cater towards that way. But then again, there's other people that are willing to spend the money for what people consider a AA game. Like, I can think of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. They might have had a slightly larger scope and budget and publishers and teams, but all 3 games fall into the smaller AA category, which they both landed. I know Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 on the list was on 5th, which is awesome to see for them, especially since I still believe that they are a Game of the Year contender for 2025. And then a lot of the indie games have gathered massive audiences due to the streamers playing them, and then lost most of their players after people moved on to the next trendy indie game. The benefit is that indie studio most of the time treats the popularity as a windfall and don't treat it like it will be there forever like publishers do. A bigger safety net for your next project or job change. I can understand where that's coming from. I feel like, with the, the short form video era that we got, HenricK, you're going to see a lot more clippable games going viral. And just think about some of the great hits from last year. You think of Content Warning, which we covered on Pause or Repeat. Schedule 1 is one of them that you can think about. Repo. Does everybody still torturing themselves
recently.
Or what about Chained Together? Is people still torturing themselves? Still doing that one? What's that other game that everybody's like holding the glass plate? That stuff shit's hilarious too. Those are those kind of games I feel like that extend high up on the the Steam charts because it does create that very funny short bonded interaction and a potential clip for your social media page. Yeah, I think I understand where that's going. And then there's also something that you need to take into account. A lot of the big AAA game publishers deliberately avoided releasing games this summer because they had expected GTA 6 to come out and wanted to avoid releasing around the same time, leaving a fairly conspicuous drought of big game releases. What were the last big AAA games that have been released this year? Death Stranding 2 and Night Rain, both from JP Studios. Not much in the way of Western AAA games. Do you vibe with that comment? I mean, I understand that that was the reports. People were, pushing back some of the release for a lot of these games. But then again, you're already getting comparisons like Ghost of Yeti to Assassin's Creed Shadows. People are already debating what graphics look better. Death Stranding 2 was looking good. HenricK, I mean, are you vibing with this?
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like there is maybe not a consensus, but like a vibe in the community where it feels like the Western studios haven't been doing that great compared to the Japanese developers and the European developer, the rest of the world, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if this is entirely
Well, I guess when it
true,
comes to the smaller
because,
studios.
yeah, I'm sure when you look at the actual numbers, it's probably pretty even in terms of who's doing successes and who's doing failures from both sides. And
Yeah.
I say just in the AAA space specifically.
Right, and we also covered on Pause or Repeat Split Fiction. That's another game from a smaller studio, but they were also funded by EA. That came in fourth, and then you got Stellar Blade, Dune Awakening, Mecha Break that we just recently covered as well. That round out the top 10. So that is really, really fascinating to see. And then you also get this comment that reads, "Most of my library is indie games. They put all their heart in, and now we even got an indie game on the top of the charts, Stardew Valley. That guy made a ton of money, but did not stop adding content." Passion. Yeah, not, every indie game gets that kind of style of success, but definitely vibing with what Laser Gadget is stating in that comment. But HenricK, gamers had some solid takes on why indies and AA games are crushing it right now, but it's only halftime, right? But here's the question. Are indie games really taking over, or is this just the halftime show before the AAA giants wake up from their holiday nap?
Well, I've been saying for the past couple years that the year of the indie game is right around the corner. And if this is not the year of the indie game, it's probably going to be next year, it's feeling like. Because, I mean, look at the AAA landscape at this point. So many AAA games come out and either don't do well because they're not finished, or they're way too expensive for what their actual quality is. And it's like when you see that happening, and you as the gamer were maybe expecting, oh, I'm going to play this AAA game that I'm really looking forward to, and then you see, oh, it's $90 and it's not finished. I don't really want to buy that. But then you look at the indie games, and you go on Steam's storefront, you see a ton of them, so many to choose from. It's almost kind of like you get choice paralysis. But the best part about that is they're not $90. They're not even $70 most of the time. They're usually $5 to $20. And that actually $20 is at the higher end typically. So what you would have been spending on a AAA game, you could get like 4 or 5 indie games and have much more things to play and probably have a better time overall.
What also, while I'm listening to you, you're making me think, are we overthinking this too, in a sense where maybe it's not all about the money, but the fact that a lot of AAA games have become so massive in size that, when you see an indie game, that you're most likely going to get a good 6-8 hour banger from start to finish. Does that play any kind of factor in a sense?
Oh, it definitely does. It definitely does. And there's that kind of like, how people feel when they're exploring something for the first time, like how the people who stepped on the moon probably felt.
Yeah.
It's like this is a new frontier. It's kind of the same thing with indie games a lot of the time, where not that many people maybe have played some of them. So when you're stepping into an indie game that is a really, like, I'm talking really indie game, not one of the
Yeah, something
bigger
very off the
popular ones,
wall. Yeah.
then you're kind of feeling like, okay, like I'm experiencing something right now that not a lot of people have actually tried or experienced, and it's got that kind of like cool factor to it a little bit as a result of it. I mean, so long as the game is solid, if it's not a solid experience, it's not going to feel cool. But
Yeah, and I guess whether that momentum is actually going to still keep pushing, keep thriving, because it's almost halfway, for the the top
Yeah.
20 chart, which is very, very incredible to see. And will it maintain that? Will it drop by the holiday season? That's where you, the gamers, decide. Let us know in the chat what's good. But man, HenricK, let's slide us into the next level, because what game news has players tilted this week?
Well, we got Reddit again, and they just threw down the gauntlet on Gamer Brains with the question, what's a 9.9 out of 10 game to you? Almost perfect with one minor gripe.
Man, that point one?
And
That's
yeah,
hard to think about.
It is very hard to think about. I know you racked your brain on that one for a while.
It's hurting my head right now. Yeah, exactly.
Well, naturally, of course, gamers assembled like it was a Smash Brothers lobby,
Yes, they
ready to nitpick greatness to death, because all these games are going to be good, obviously. So here's what they had to say before patching in another complaint.
Yeah, it's like getting a fresh baseball jersey, and then you get that one little coffee drop that just landed on your white pinstripe California Angels jersey. If Fallout New Vegas would just effing work. Yeah, what are you still playing on a PS3? Have you not upgraded? I mean, where the hell?
Hey, you
Hello?
know what? It's just the Bethesda jank, and that's what the mods are for. You
thought
throw the
that
mods in there. There's some mods that come out for the Bethesda games that they come out in a week after the game drops, and it fixes issues that have been in Bethesda games all the way back since Oblivion. So that says something about their bug squashing.
But I would also say that's kind of part of the charm. I mean, that is just
A little
nostalgia,
bit, yeah.
right
Yeah.
there, just a little bit. But then Ocarina of Time, camera angles were occasionally annoying. I'm sure a lot of people still feel like that when they play like Resident Evil old school games. They're like, oh my gosh, I can't.
It's because
Or Dino Crisis.
Yeah, especially in like this era, and even in the era of Dino Crisis and Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Camera work was still being figured out in games, and in 3D games specifically.
Or like Silent Hill. I mean, that's always been the big argument about the remakes. It's like, what they did back then was so freaking cool because they would manipulate the camera angle because they wanted you to focus towards a certain something. Nowadays, where you can get that free form, maybe the magic gets lost a little bit, but now everybody's like, that is so freaking janky and too retro for me. I don't want any part of it. And then, wow, we got another Zelda here, Breath of the Wild. Let the champion weapons be the Master Sword, where they can regenerate after a waiting period. I'm fine with the weapon durability system, but not with the champion weapons being an afterthought. What do you say about that, HenricK?
The whole durability thing, yeah, I don't really enjoy it compared to the previous Zelda games. I'm a big Zelda fan, by the way, guys. If it hasn't been clear from previous shows. But my big gripe with Breath of the Wild actually is that there are dungeons, but they're not to the traditional dungeons of the previous titles. And I want those to come back, because they were awesome.
Yeah, you're like, that's my 0.1% gripe. Dungeons in, thank you.
Yeah. They tried in Tears of the Kingdom, but still didn't hit the same.
Still didn't quite hit the spot. All I got to say as a side note is, obviously, the casting for Zelda and Link is being shared across the World Wide Web. And I would just kind of remind a lot of the adult gamers, let's protect the children, all right? It's like the Harry Potter casting. As much as I want to be like, why are we still doing this? We already had it. It's like, they're kids in the end. Protect the children. Be thoughtful about what you say online. That's all I think about.
Yeah,
because
they're reading it.
Oh my gosh, Nintendo, I don't think is ready for what's to come now that they just released the casting for Zelda and Link. And then now you get, wow, replayed Cyberpunk with Phantom Liberty. It should have spent more time doing missions with Jackie, so it makes more sense to grieve for him. 9.99 out of 10. It's so funny. I've said that numerous times about Cyberpunk 2077. If you were someone like me that played it the first time and just bomb rushed through the main mission, you might go, that's it? That's it? Right, Henry?
Yeah. Yeah, it is a game you really need to play the side missions for to get the full experience, because if you don't, you're just not getting the intended experience that they want out of the game, which is why in Phantom Liberty they kind of nudged you into the side missions more.
Yeah, exactly.
But
it was a smart move.
You gotta do it somehow, because there are gonna be people like you who just rush the main story and be like, is that it?
What's so amazing is that, Cyberpunk is, getting ready for a new update again. I think it's called like 2.3. You can customize your cars and whips.
Yeah.
I think there's over like 250
and they're working
paint jobs.
on another anime series as well. In the universe.
You gotta love it, fam. And then you also get, I would have never thought this, The Wolf Among Us, a Telltale game series. The 0.1% comes from a cliffhanger ending on one of their top games to then wait over a decade for a sequel, cancellation, re-announced sequel by Warner Brothers, and then developer hell. Yeah, I feel that gripe. That would kind of suck. That would kind of suck, too.
Yeah.
And then the last one is Portal 1 and 2. My only gripe is that they aren't long enough. But then again, it's so funny that they make that kind of style of comment, because we just literally said during the indie debate, it's like, doesn't that kind of like work in like consumers' minds that they know that they can pay less, but they're going to get an awesome 6-8 hour journey? But then some people are like, I'm still not getting what I want in the end. I can't even remember how much Portal costs, because remember it came in what they call it, the red box.
The orange box.
Orange box. Why did I say red? Oh, someone's going to roast me.
Yeah, where it was
so
Team
bad.
Fortress 2.
Can't believe I just said red box. I know someone's going to roast
box,
me.
that's
I know
crazy,
someone's going to
Chris.
roast me so badly right now. I know who you are. Don't do it. But anyways, HenricK, what game lives rent-free in your heart, but you still side-eye it for the one tiny thing it refuses to get right?
I'm actually... Funny thing that you put 2 Legend of Zelda games in this, because I'm actually going to say The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. It's not my favorite Zelda game. My favorite Zelda game goes to Majora's Mask, which has its own problem being an asset flip, technically, Ocarina of Time. But with Twilight Princess, the reason why I like that game so much is it's basically what I envisioned Ocarina of Time to be like when I was playing that game for the first time. Just very much more advanced in terms of like you can actually fight on your horse with your sword, things like that. Like that was just awesome. But what isn't that great about it is it's very slow to start. Like I feel the momentum of the game doesn't really pick up until maybe like 2 hours in.
Well, that's like Red Dead Redemption 2. Does anybody just remember trekking in the snow? I mean, that shit took forever. Or like, I wasn't even thinking about this for my own gripe. I mean, I don't think it's a 9.9 out of 10 game. I think people that have tuned in since season 1 know that I got a little bit of beef with Red Dead Redemption 2. I get that it's a fantastic story. It probably would work really, really well.
They're
for
gonna
a TV
crucify
adaptation.
you in the comments.
There is certain things that I just don't like vibe with it. Maybe someone can ask me another day. But or even thinking about like when you're skinning an animal in that game. I mean, my God, dude, we get it. It's like the longest cutscene to make it happen. Rapito, rapito, rapito. I was really trying to get all like hipster and trying to think of something different beyond, what people were saying on Reddit, HenricK, but I'm just going to have to go towards the Fallout series. I mean, I love Fallout. I'm excited to hear that there's rumors flicking around that a Fallout 5 is in development. I'm hoping, my ears are perking that that's real. But I guess my biggest major gripe is for Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas. Didn't play Fallout 76 like the way that I did for the other ones because, 76 does not hit the same. But Can they just get on with the point and just do checkpoints? I mean, I don't understand that. I mean, everybody's always spamming the button, right? When it comes to saving game. I
Yeah,
mean,
you
Fallout
got that
3.
quick save on
Yeah,
speed
you
dial.
go down to the metro and you're like, oh my God, I don't want to see that goal. I see a goal and then save. And then all of a sudden you turn a door, open the door, save. I open up a lock, save. You know what I mean? Like, that was the kind of gamer that I was. And I think Bethesda knows that that's how majority of people play those kind of style of games, just like how I'm sure you guys are playing Oblivion like that and Skyrim. Or is that just me? Is that a skill issue? I don't know. But that's my 0.1% gripe. That's it, Henry. But then again, we want to know from you, the gamers, what is a 9.9 out of 10 game that is so badass that has that one minor flaw? Let us know what's good. But we want to thank everyone for tuning in to Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. And just a reminder for everybody that's tuning in live every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, because without your support, gamers, this show would not be possible. And if you're not following us on our social media feeds, this is my YouTube channel, QR code, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss a live show.
You see the QR code, so bask in its glory. And then after you're done, go and scan it. Because that goes to my YouTube channel where there's tons of awesome content just waiting to be watched. So go watch some, go leave some comments. I'll respond to you.
That's right,
Thanks, guys.
man. We love you, fam. And for everybody that's always tuning in to Twitch, YouTube, and Meta, thank you. We will be back next week live every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So enjoy yourself. You know, grab a caffeine shake, whatever you got to do to get yourself jiggy with it when it comes to playing video games all night. And we will see you next week, fam. Peace.